Okay, so we're going to do something kind of wild today. We're going to draw a straight line from a broke king, like 300 years ago, all the way to the crypto code that's shaking things up right now. It's the story of our entire financial system, and maybe, just maybe, how it's all about to change.
Yeah, I know. It sounds like one of those trick questions, right? But seriously, the answer connects the very birth of modern money to the device you're watching this on. And that connection, it's an idea that built empires, created unimaginable wealth, and now, well, it's facing its biggest test ever. All right, let's rewind way back. This whole story doesn't start in some Silicon Valley garage. Nope. It starts with a king who's flat broke and a merchant with a crazy, game-changing idea.
And when I say broke, I mean broke. King William III was in deep trouble. He's fighting this huge, expensive war with France, and the royal piggy bank is totally empty. He's tried raising taxes, but that's just not enough. He needed something new, something revolutionary.
So along comes this Scottish merchant, William Paterson, in 1694 with a pitch that is just audacious. Get this. He says, okay, step one, a bunch of us private investors will lend you, the crown, a cool 1.2 million pounds. Step two, you pay us a sweet 8% interest every year and you guarantee it with future taxes. But here's the kicker. Step three, in exchange for the loan, you give us a charter to create our own national bank, the Bank of England, and we get to issue the money and manage this new debt. Wow.
And just like that, bam, the concept of national debt is born. You see, this wasn't just a simple loan you pay off and forget about. No, this created a debt that just keeps rolling over forever. It became this incredible machine that could fund wars, build empires, all by basically borrowing from your great-great-great-great-grandkids. So, Patterson lit the fuse, you could say. But it was the Rothschild family who took that little spark and turned it into a global firestorm. They took this one bank idea and scaled it up to a level nobody had ever seen before.
And their big secret, their aha moment? It was this simple but powerful idea from Mayor M. Rothschild. He figured, hey, lending to a regular person is risky. They could skip town. But a whole country? A country can always tax its people to pay its bills. That makes a government the ultimate, safest borrower. So he sent his 5 sons out to the major capitals of Europe to build a financial empire based on that one single insight.
And man, did they get good at this game. The story of the Waterloo trade is just legendary. Nathan Rothschild, the son in London, had his own private network of messengers, faster than the government's. So he hears that Napoleon has been defeated at Waterloo before anyone else. While the rest of London is panicking over false rumors of a British loss, what does he do? He quietly starts buying up all the dirt cheap British government bonds he can find. Then the official news breaks. Britain won, bond prices go through the roof, and he makes an absolute fortune. It wasn't magic, it wasn't a conspiracy, it was just having better, faster information.
So you see what's happening here, right? They basically took Patterson's model and put it on steroids. It wasn't about funding just one government anymore. They were creating a global market for government IOUs, financing everything from wars to the first railways.
And the scale, it's hard to even wrap your head around. They were issuing government bonds for Prussia, Brazil, France. Heck, they even loaned Britain the money to buy its shares in the Suez Canal. They pretty much became the bankers to the world, all built on that original idea, lending money to governments secured by the taxes of future generations.
Okay, so let's hit the fast forward button. 300 years later, where are we? Well, that little machine they built has become this unstoppable global force, bigger than anyone back then could have ever dreamed of.
Get ready for this number. As of mid-2025, the total amount of debt in the world, and that's everyone, governments, big companies, you and me, is on track to hit $337.7 trillion. Just try to picture that. It's a number so big, it's almost meaningless, right? And that brings up a really weird question, doesn't it? If the whole world owes this much money, who do we owe it to? Like, is Mars our banker? Who's holding the IOU for planet Earth?
The answer is kinda strange. We owe it all to ourselves.
Okay, here's how that works. It's the big aha moment. The entire global financial system is basically a closed loop. Think about it. For every person's debt, it's another person's asset. Your car loan is a debt for you, but it's an asset on the bank's books. A government bond is the country's debt, but it's a safe asset for your retirement fund. So if you add it all up, the planet's net debt is 0. It all cancels out.
But what if something new comes along? Something that exists outside of that closed loop?
Well, that's exactly what happened. After the huge financial crisis in 2008, crypto was born. And it wasn't just a new tech. It was a direct challenge to this whole 300-year-old way of doing things. And you can see the difference right here. The old system, fiat money, is literally created from debt, and it's controlled by central banks. Crypto, on the other hand, is decentralized. There's no one in charge. The supply is often fixed, like with Bitcoin, and it's all peer-to-peer. You don't need a bank in the middle. It's a completely different idea of what money should be. But here's where it gets really interesting and a little ironic. Some parts of this new crypto world are actually propping up the old system. Take stablecoins, right? They're supposed to be crypto, but they're pegged to the US dollar. And how do they hold that peg? Often by buying US government bonds, US debt. So the more popular stablecoins get, the more they have to buy US debt to back them up. It's kind of like a Trojan horse, sneaking the old system right into the new one. Okay, but all this big picture stuff is one thing. Maybe the biggest change, the real revolution, is what this technology does for you, for the individual. Let's bring it right down to your level. For hundreds of years, if you wanted to make decent money on your savings, you had to play in their sandbox. Buy government bonds, put it in a big bank. But now, DeFi, decentralized finance, is changing the game. Just look at this number. 18% APY. That's an 18% return in a year, and it's not coming from Wall Street. It's being generated by a computer program running on a blockchain. So how is that even possible? Well, it's through projects like Pulse Zen. Think of it like a supercharged savings account that lives on the Pulse chain blockchain. Instead of a banker, you have smart code that automatically takes your earnings and reinvests them for you over and over. That's the power of compounding, but on autopilot. And it's funny. In a way, this brings us right back to the beginning. William Paterson's idea was brilliant, no doubt, but it created a top-down system controlled by a select few. What we're seeing today is that same level of brilliant financial engineering, but with one massive difference. It's open to everybody. Anyone with an internet connection can tap into it. So that leaves us with one final huge question. The entire financial world we know was designed 300 years ago based on centralized debt. Right now, a totally new system is being built, brick by digital brick. We've just walked through the last 300 years. So what are the next 300 going to be built on?